I told you so! What have I been telling you? Hey everyone, David here with Fragrance Bros. So, I initially made a video about my thoughts about Jeremy Fragrance's latest video. Latest few videos, I should say. But I didn't think the initial video was exactly what I wanted to say. So today I'm shooting on location in this beautiful park here, apparently on this stone table where Aslan was slain. Now, why do I make videos about Jeremy Fragrance? It's been a question that some people have asked. The reason to that is because I've been a part of this community for over 7 years. This community is something that I've helped create, along with many other reviewers who are fantastic as well. It's not mine alone. It's the collaboration of a bunch of reviewers in one community. If someone were to come in my neighborhood, on my street, and cause some trouble, do you think that I would just sit back and say nothing? Would you? I hope that you would say something to someone who is creating problems in your neighborhood, in your backyard, in your street. I hope you would say something. So I think all of you know some of the events that have happened lately with Jeremy Fragrance. Of course, he made a Kickstarter campaign on his fragrance called The Office, or Office One, the best name in history apparently. It was very successful. To that, I applaud him. However, he's made a lot of videos recently that have been really nothing burgers. They've said nothing, they've updated nothing, they've given no information up until recently. Now there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone can make videos about whatever they want, of course, and people will watch. And he has an audience that will watch videos of him saying nothing. Recently though, he's made videos about his fragrance and about how he wants to triple the price. And a lot of people have had problems with that. His audience did not take that well. The last count I saw about his video about that, it had over 7,500 dislikes. People were very, very upset, and understandably so. Already his fragrance on Kickstarter was for $160 USD. And that seemed very high for what you're getting, which seemed like a very safe office fragrance, which is just going to be just kind of this mainstream type of fresh citrus woody scent that seemed very, very boring with a lot of synthetic ingredients that has a list of notes that we already know. A lot of them look very inexpensive and cheap. I have a list of them right here. You can see a lot of them are just synthetics, and they don't even try to cover up the fact that they're synthetic. They just name the synthetic molecules. What naturals are in there seem also very cheap as well. $160 for that seems like 50% more than what you should be paying for a fragrance of a similar type. Then he said he's going to triple the price. And wow, was that like the Hindenburg of all announcements? He's lost thousands of subscribers about that one video. And since then he's made updates about that and said he needs to do it. Why? No reason. He just wants to create a luxury brand. But since when? Since when did he want to create a luxury brand? His fragrance doesn't seem like a luxury fragrance. His audience doesn't seem like a luxury audience. His audience doesn't seem like the type of audience that would want something that is outside the realm of fresh, safe, very pleasing. And there's nothing wrong with wanting those type of fragrances. Everyone is in the fragrance world for their own reasons. And I think wanting a fresh, very likable fragrance is fine. I think that's a good thing if you want to get into it for that. Over $450 USD for something that was already $160, highway robbery, I think, for a just generic citrus woody fragrance is the height of absurdity. It shows absolutely zero acknowledgement of who your audience is. It shows absolutely zero respect for your audience. He says it's not about the money, but he doesn't really say what else it's for other than creating a luxury brand based on something that doesn't seem like a luxury fragrance. The cost of the ingredients don't seem high, so there's no reason why he should raise the price to begin with. Because he doesn't really give much of a reason outside of just creating a luxury brand, it leads a lot of people to think he's in it for the money. And if he were to create this fragrance as a luxury fragrance to begin with, and say this is going to be an amazing fragrance with high quality ingredients, we're going to start at a very low price and say this is $160, and later we're going to raise it to a lot more, people would still be a little bit more understanding. But that's not what he's doing. If he were to say, we've come into some obstacles with the pricing, the sourcing of ingredients, and we're gonna have to raise the price, people would probably still understand and be a little bit more forgiving there. But people are not forgiving of someone who wants to swindle them, or of someone who seemingly wants to take advantage of someone they deem gullible. And it looks like that's what Jeremy thinks of his audience. He seems to think that people are gonna buy his fragrance just because he's Jeremy Fragrance, because he thinks he's a celebrity. He thinks he's amazing. If you go and watch his videos, A lot of his update videos are just about how he thinks he's awesome. Any one of these things may not be enough to piss people off, but the combination of everything really starts to get people wondering, was Dave right? Was Dave right about his suspicions about Jeremy Fragrance? And I'm honestly not here to gloat. I'm honestly here to make another video about someone who's coming into the fragrance world, who's coming on my street, who's coming on our block, and he wants to sell you snake oil. He wants to sell you a fragrance for way more money than it's worth. And who knows if this fragrance is going to be any good? I kind of doubt it. I don't know if I trust the expertise of someone who can't tell the difference between a rose and sandalwood, a flower and a tree. And I'm not talking about the difference between two different flowers or two different roses. A rose and sandalwood. To me, that seems like anyone could name the difference between a flower and a wood. And yet people are going to buy a fragrance from him, who was a creative director over this fragrance. Will it be good based on his experience? You tell me. Now, who is going to buy this $450 fragrance, whose price is up there with Raja Dove and Clive Christian, actual true luxury brands who take into account the finest ingredients that they can source, who put money into the finest packaging that they can have for a luxury brand, a luxury house? To just make a fragrance and say it's luxury and put a price tag on it is ridiculous. People will see that and they won't even bat an eye. They will just pass it by. So who is this audience? The true luxury fragrance audience is a niche within a niche. It is a very small amount of people with a lot of money to spend. His audience, I don't think, is that type of audience. They're certainly not the type of audience that wants to pay $450 for just a generic mainstream fragrance. I hope not. The funny thing is, even in his own videos, Jeremy admits that he himself would not buy his own fragrance. That to me says enough. That says all you need to know, that he will not buy a fragrance that is that expensive. And if the creator of the fragrance won't buy his own fragrance, should you? I honestly don't care who buys Jeremy's fragrance, but 3 times the price is not going to sell. He obviously does not know the economy of supply, demand, and price. He obviously does not know that increasing the price will decrease the demand, but it won't just decrease the demand linearly. It'll decrease the demand logarithmically, meaning that the demand will plummet far more than his price can account for. The problem is, when you're in the community, you're selling this to a group of people who care, and then you make a video saying you're just going to do it arbitrarily. You're just going to raise the price arbitrarily because you can, because you know they're going to buy it. So rightfully, people are mad. Rightfully so, people are mad. They're mad that he's raising the price without giving anything in return, just because he wants to. And without any reason of doing so, people are just assuming that he actually does want to do it for the money. And that seems like the only logical, rational conclusion that one could think based upon his decision to raise the price 3 times without any recompense to you, without increasing the quality of the ingredients or the packaging or any other reason to do so, without any good reason at all. To me though, the biggest thing about this whole situation is Jeremy's arrogance about it all, and that he really takes his audience for granted. He really does not even understand why he has an audience. Seeing him respond to his audience, who obviously dislikes his choices and his videos and the numerous comments and tons of dislikes, he answers them with just very arrogant responses. That people who disagree with him hate him, they're haters, that he's a celebrity, that he knows what he's talking about. At this point, he thinks he's so big that he cannot fail, and he's not. What he needs to do is, instead of double down, instead of going after the people who are disagreeing with him, what he needs to do is apologize to his subscribers for making a bad decision. He needs to have some humility and listen to his subscribers, his audience, his consumer base who wants to buy his fragrances but not be swindled and not feel like they're being taken advantage of. Of course, I disagree with a lot of what Jeremy has done over the years, a lot of his choices, but I do not relish the fact that it seems like I'm right about him. It seems like Jeremy himself is ruining his own channel, and he himself is proving me right. It seems like success has really gotten to his head. And more than that, it seems like success has hurt him. I hope the community learns from all this, and I hope that everything will be good in the end. I hope the community will be a better place when everything is done. I hope that when all the dust settles, Jeremy will grow a better person and be humble about everything that he's done. I don't know if he'll do that. And that's why this whole situation is just beyond absurd. You can do what you want with your own money. If you want to buy his fragrance, that's completely fine. I personally will not. And I sincerely hope that you will not. If Jeremy has deleted his videos, I'll have uploads and links to those where you can go and listen to those and watch those yourself. And you deem what you think about it yourself. You don't need to agree with me. It doesn't matter to me. You go and make up your mind yourself. And that is all I have to say.